Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
Is there a new group set of the people? Because Campagnolo has just launched Ekar GT. We're going to discuss that.
We also have a jam-packed show full of hot tech. We've got a new wheel sponsor to announce. There's 2 new sets of shoes have been released. Waxing and Chain just got a whole load easier. And then as well as a new group set, Campagnolo have got a new wheel set as well.
And if you're wondering where we are, we're actually in GCN Satellite Mega Moon Base Alpha in Girona, because we're here filming some other videos. So first up this week, the new Ekar GT group set. Is this group set going to save Campagnolo? We thought we'd discuss this because a few weeks back on the GCN Tech Show, we discussed how Campagnolo was no longer in the world tour and what this meant. And this is the first time really since its inception. And a lot of people commented under that video suggesting that something they missed from Campagnolo was entry-level group sets because the company didn't really focus on that now and seemed to be concentrating more on, well, super record.
Well, it turns out they had a little trick up their sleeves and it was a mid-range gravel group set and it's called Ekar GT.
It's almost as if that Campagnolo watched the show 3 weeks ago and thought, right, let's rustle something up. 3 weeks later, here it is.
I think that's completely plausible. 3 weeks from design, sign off on manufacturing, get it all done. Job's a good one.
Easy.
So what we need to discuss is a little bit more about the group set and I guess kind of like our thoughts on if we think, is this the product that's going to bring Campagnolo back to the forefront and make everybody celebrate?
Yeah, and what it means.
Yeah.
Before we do that, headline stats for the group set. You've got them written down here.
Okay, so Ekar GT. It's basically Ekar, but a little bit less posh, and it's using aluminium instead of carbon fiber on lots of different components, which kind of makes a lot of sense, really. So key headline stats, it's only 300 grams heavier than Ekar. We've got revised lever ergonomics, an aluminium crank, and then the big change here is a whole host of new gearing options.
And it's one by only, no front derailleur.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I should have mentioned that. So they've kind of spec'd the cassettes in 4 different options. So you've got a 1048, a 1044, a 942, and a 936. And they've, in that order, titled them as newcomers, amateur, expert, pro, which I can't say I'm really feeling like I'm on board with giving the cassettes that like tagline.
Also, I'm intrigued by the prospect of the 9-tooth.
Yeah.
The 9-tooth.
9-tooth is a whole other question. We can't dive into that for now. In terms of chainring sizes, 36, 38, 40, 42, and a 44. So whilst it's got its own rear derailleur, new levers, aluminium crank, and then the new cassette options, there are a number of different components which are going to remain shared from Ekar and Ekar GT. So rotors, chain, bottom bracket, calipers, and then the different brake adapters and stuff like that. So all in all, you've got lots of main components which are new and then sharing across.
So overall weights are the claimed overall weight for normal Ekar that already existed, 2,400 grams, and the new one, 2,700 grams.
Yeah.
But what is the price of this?
Well, the price, I think, is one of the key bits because the messaging Campagnolo is sending out with this group set is it's designed to be more affordable, more accessible for lots of different people. So, Ekar GT group set, retail price, $1,599, 1,490 euros. And then tied in with this launch is a new wheel set, which we'll focus on in a little bit of a minute. But those wheels are priced at $749, 690 euros.
So to put that price into context, the price of the new 12-speed mechanical 105 group set is just under £1,000 or around $1,200, about 1,200 euros as well.
So it's the same kind of ballpark.
But it has a front mech and it's a road group set.
And 2 chain rings.
And that's the mechanical one, just to stress, not the Di2 one.
Yeah.
But that's considerably less.
Is it considerably less though? I think it's ballpark region.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what we should probably discuss is what this means for the other group sets within Campagnolo's range, because that was what people commented underneath the tech show a few weeks back, said that they were kind of like crying out for, right? Updates and revisions to perhaps the road group sets, which is where the majority of people are kind of riding, right? Gravel's like a big booming industry, but it's still small compared to road.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that they haven't focused on having a mid-range road group set at all. So they still technically have Centaur, which is in there, it's on their website. And
I'm looking at it now.
But it's not been updated since 2017 and is still 11-speed mechanical. And that's a group set that was aimed at the sort of 105 level. But they've clearly, like I said, it's not been updated since 2017.
Well, crucially, it's still rim brake.
Yeah, and it's still rim brake group set. It's not a disc brake group set. So that isn't a group set that you really see spec'd on any bikes, really. It's not a very common thing, and I just doesn't appear that they're focusing on it. And so it looks like their focus at the moment is on this gravel area, which is an interesting thing to do because the gravel sector is growing and it does have a more general appeal, I think, whereas road the appeal can be quite performance driven.
Yeah.
Gravel can be a lot more about the vibe. And a lot more
the
fun.
Spirit
It's
of
a
gravel.
lot more, the spirit of gravel. It can be a lot more accessible for people.
So do we think on that basis Campagnolo are trying to carve themselves a new pathway here into the cycling gravel market?
It could be. It could be a great strategy for them. The only thing is, if that is the case, then maybe it means we might... I would look for them to have another group set beyond Ekar. That's like a sort of an electronic shifting.
You're not going to make it more expensive again.
Well, no, it's just because this is the way in which, I think one of the ways in which, say, the likes of SRAM and Shimano have done very well is you have this thing called like the customer's journey, right? Mm-hmm. Where, and we've been on it. My first bike had a mixture of Sora and Tiagra on it. Yeah. And then my next bike that I bought, and I'd save up all my pennies, had 105 on, and it was just the most amazing thing when I changed to 10-speed 105. It was like so good. Yeah. And then I sort of upgraded bits to like Ultegra, and then you get to the point where you you get a Di2 bike or
So you feel like that lures you in as a customer. You think that's great. Where's the next one? And you sort of build it up in levels, I guess.
Yeah, as you get better and you can appreciate the finer points of the improved group sets more. Okay. You kind of progress and improve your components that you use. And at the moment, you'd say, right, if someone gets, Ekar, where do they go from there? There isn't a sort of...
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point, to be fair. And perhaps this group set is kind of the answer for that, making it a bit more affordable. And then I guess you could probably spec the Ekar GT up to become like the fully fledged Ekar with the carbon components and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that could be a good move, but it's not really specifically down to us, is it?
No.
Everyone at home should probably share their thoughts on this in the comments section, because it was really cool to see everyone and hear everyone's thoughts about Campagnolo when we spoke about it a few weeks back. But now knowing that this direction and turn has happened, I wonder if it's changed people's perceptions.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of easy for us to just sit here and go, oh, why don't they bring out an updated Centaur, an updated 105 level Campagnolo road group set. But you don't ever have we don't ever have the full picture when we're commentating on this. And I think that's important to remember, because going up against the likes of Shimano Shimano's massive, massive company. They have far more resource to go, right, well, we're going to focus on everything. And for a smaller company, it's not as easy to focus on everything. And if they might feel that Shimano just had road locked down, maybe that's the thing, well, right, we'll pursue gravel. More options for more people, it's a good thing. So we should also speak about these wheels, right? So people who have been in cycling for a long time are going to be excited to hear that there is a new Zonda wheel available, right? Yeah, I mean, 20 years ago, a pair of alloy rim brake Zondas, legendary wheels, they sort of had this reputation as just being bomb-proof wheels. So these are called the Zonda GTs. See where they've gone with the name here. Yeah. Aluminium rim, 23 millimeters internal rim width, 29 millimeter deep rim, cup and cone bearings, and in terms of the weight, 1,690 grams. What is good to see here is Campagnolo keeping that two-way fit, which they developed on some of their wheel sets previously, like a
it's like a mini hooked system, which they say offers a kind of like best of both worlds. Which I think is kind of cool, right?
Campagnolo and Shimano love cup and cone bearings.
They do.
They love them.
Well, you can see what the group set and the wheels look like, but as I said, I think it would be great to hear everyone's thoughts on this. I don't really have much to say about the rest of the group set and wheels.
Yeah. So I guess what we want to know from you guys, and you can put it down in the comments below, if you were getting a group set for a gravel bike, and let's assume you don't already have a gravel bike or a gravel group set, what would you go for if you were doing it tomorrow? Let us know.
Fair point.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do hot tech now.
It's now time for Hot and Spicy Tech. We're going to kick off with a pretty major announcement that we are both excited about, and that is because we have a new wheel sponsor / partner here on GCN and GCN Tech, and their name is Elite Wheels.
Yeah, some people will be going, who? Whereas other people will be going, oh yes, finally. So some avid viewers may remember that I used Elite Wheels in the Taiwan KOM Challenge last year. And well, we were super impressed by them and thought they were great. And fortunately, they've come on board to support us. So we've got a video that's out this weekend that's going to have all of the details and like tech and explaining and looking at the wheels in a bit more detail. So if you want to watch that, make sure you hit subscribe and check it out.
Right. First up in Hot Tech then, moving on to some shoes. At the start of the show, I said we've got 2 new sets to talk about. First one's being the new shoes from Specialized, which I'm going to throw out there, are using trickle-down tech.
If you're playing GCN Tech Bingo at home, you can now strike off trickle-down tech.
Bingo!
For this week.
So this is a mid-tier shoe option for Specialized, right? It sits below the S-Works Torch.
Yes. Although when we say mid-tier, I would still say, based upon the price, these shoes are still very much high-end.
So we're going to create a new category, mid-high tier.
I've got a set of them here. So there you are. Let's tighten these bow
Make
dots.
them look a bit smart.
That's it. Let's put the tighten the. Hang on. What am I doing? I'm playing with the bow dot. Oh, no. I've done it wrong. That goes on there. They're not. Right.
I'm going to say that was pretty slick.
Right.
Do you want to tell us some more about the shoes?
So they have the Torch 2 and the Torch 3. The Torch 1 already exists, and then you've got the S-Works Torch, which is the top of the range shoe the pros use, right? But these look very similar to the S-Works Torch. The biggest difference really is the weight. So for a size 42, they're claimed to be 288 grams versus 225 grams for an S-Works shoe. These are size 45s, and I put them on the scale, and they were 328 grams. So you'd imagine the S-Works is a bit lighter than that. But the price is quite a big difference. So these are £210 in the UK, similar price in euros or dollars, versus 350 for the S-Works. So, for the sake of like 50 grams, it's more than
significant difference.
100 quid.
Yeah.
The Torch 2 is actually a little bit lighter than this one. That's because it has a single boa dial and a Velcro strap. But I do like the sort of 2 boa dial.
Torch 2, cheaper again, right? £165, 200 euros, 270 Australian dollars.
So I think if you're looking for performance shoes, I think in terms of bang for buck, I think this kind of level of shoe is a good thing when you look at the price and the weight, and they have carbon soles and stuff. Compared to,
I think that's a fair comment. They look smart, don't they?
Yeah. Plus, they're easy to clean, isn't it? With the white
that's what
perforation
you want.
thing.
If you've got white shoes, you want to keep them clean.
You know what? It's an underrated thing that I think when people buy shoes, the ease of cleaning, because there is significant investment, expensive shoes.
Yeah.
And some shoes with like softer materials are a lot harder to clean. Yeah. And they don't look they start to look a bit crap.
Look at Hank's shoes when he doesn't look after them. They get mucky. Right, so Specialized aren't the only ones with new shoes.
No.
Bontrager caused a pretty big stir when they released these absolute bad boys. So they're the range top-in RSL knit, and it's the first knitted shoe that Bontrager do, I believe.
Yes, and they also launched some lower-end mid-high-end shoes.
The old mid-high-end.
Velocis. Now, they have an interesting feature on them. So they have like that knitted construction, which is really good for comfort and stuff like you see it on the DMT shoes that we wear.
Yeah.
Which is great for comfort. But then what they've done is they've put this thing called the Met over it. So you have, do you know, like on the edge of like the metatarsal area, a lot of people have like a bunion.
Yeah.
Yeah. People do. And so where your bone sticks out on the side of your foot, that can be off the most common place where you kind of get a hot spot. So what they've done is they've made sure that bit is like the soft knit.
Yeah.
And then they've put like a sort of cagey bit.
I'm going to call it an exoskeleton.
Yeah, that's a good word, yeah.
Yeah.
Around that to give it still the sort of rigidity that you need. So it's quite a cool looking shoe. And they're available in like a sort of black one and a white one.
So I'm just reading here, it says about the carbon sole has a claimed stiffness of a 14 out of 14 on the stiffness index, which is a completely made up scale that shoe companies seem to have adopted.
What are the SI units of the stiffness index?
I don't know. Anyway, these shoes are inevitably top dog when it comes to kind of pricing. £400, $500.
Ooh.
It's an eye-watering amount for a pair of shoes, but I mean, if you want the crazy amount of like tech and top-end stuff, that's what you got to pay. Straight in.
Yes. Next up, I mean, I'm struggling to contain my excitement right now.
Go on, you can share the excitement. It's a safe space.
I mean, this is super exciting for me. Bear in mind, I am a nerd. There's been an exciting, incredibly exciting update in the world of chain waxing.
Right. Okay. So chain waxing is nothing new, right? People have been doing it for a long time.
We bang on about it every week.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. So what's actually the new thing here? So
okay, chain waxing, Alex.
Yeah.
I think it could have just got much easier. So a lot of people wouldn't disagree with the benefits of a wax chain. Your chain is more efficient, it makes you faster. It lasts longer, which saves you money. Doesn't wear out as quick.
Brilliant.
All great. Okay. But a lot of people are put off by the perceived faff of buying a chain, stripping it, waxing it, and doing all that doodah. Okay. However, Silka have invented a new thing called strip chips. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this comes in a bar and it looks suspiciously like a bar of Lindt chocolate. And you break off a square and you put your square in with your hot melt wax.
Yeah.
And then there's some rather cool chemistry going on here, which I can't wait to explain in a future video. But what this strip chip does is it melts in the wax and then it's able to chemically react to the
breaks down the factory grease.
The factory grease that's already come on your chain. So you don't have to strip your chain. You just put your factory grease chain, plonk it in the melted wax.
The magic science happens.
Magic.
Genuinely, even if you're not into chain waxing, right? I think you've got to appreciate the tech and the research that's gone into making this actually possible.
Yeah.
How it works, I don't actually have a clue. It is magic.
It's one for another time.
Yeah.
The strip chip is able to chemically alter the factory grease, taking it off the chain, and then the wax goes on the chain, and you're all good to go. But that's not all.
Yeah.
Not only that, Silka have now got a special little bath that you can put your wax in.
It's like the ultimate chain waxing kit.
Yeah, so in the past, we've done stuff using crock pots and things, which are great. But this one is specially designed to go to exact temperatures you need. So it goes up to 125 degrees.
For the strip chip.
And to melt the wax.
And then it goes back down to 75.
But it doesn't go beyond that, which would burn the wax. Now, some people have problems burning their wax.
Yeah.
But then it has another setting where it drops it to 75, which is then the optimum temperature for it to drop down to then take your chain out.
Fantastic.
And then you've got a stand for your chain now and a special thing to put it on so you don't have to faff around with a spoke. Like people use old spokes and coat hangers.
I think it makes the whole process feel a lot nicer and a lot more professional rather than like a little homemade kit.
Yeah,
right?
I can't wait to use all this stuff. Probably on a Friday night with all my friends.
I'm actually buzzing because Josh from Silka says he sent us both a kit each.
Oh, we can have a party.
Strip chips, right? £24, €29, $24. The Wax Melter Ultimate Pro Level Kit, £99, €119, $99. I think it's exciting stuff. You can prove me wrong in the comments. Anyway, right, moving on in hot tech. This was something I wanted to speak about last week. It completely slipped my mind, so I do apologise. It's the Zwift Climb Portal, right?
Oh.
So this is something Zwift have been implementing, and then they're like evolving and adding more new climbs into the world of Zwift, and then it's going to be on rotation, similar to like what they do now with the different worlds that you're able to ride in.
Yes, and one of the climbs is there's a lot of exciting things this week. It's a climb that's close to GCN Megabase, Cheddar Gorge.
We have ridden up and down that so many times.
Andrew Feather has the KOM in real life.
I wonder if he's got it on Zwift. Maybe not yet.
Probably not.
But it is kind of cool because it's just adding into another level and dimension that you can go and experience. And you think, I can go ride it on Zwift. Maybe when I go on holiday, or if I live near, I could travel and ride it. You can compare your times, and it just opens up the world.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to compare my times. The one difference, though, is with Cheddar Gorge in Zwift, you don't have loads of antisocial people in Ford Focus STs popping and banging.
People race up there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's now time for comments of the week.
First comment from this week, Cannondale actually got in touch about our video that you did all the heavy lifting.
I did do the heavy lifting.
On pro bike weights, when Alex went and weighed them all in Australia. And they pointed out that we weighed the System 6, which is their aero bike. And so they came in, pretty low down in the rankings with the 7.78 kilo System 6 that you weighed. But they actually said that their bikes have an average weight of 7.4 kilograms, and some are lighter than that, which you'd expect for smaller riders, and some are a little heavier. And additionally, they quite rightly pointed out that when we said the 7.78, there were some images of an Evo shown, which is their lighter climbing bike. So, yeah, I think that's fair to point that out.
Okay, right. So we need to talk about some comments from the show from last week when we discussed Pro Gear and how it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay?
Yeah.
So first comment is from _J.F. They say, I bought a new endurance bike last year. It came with a 12-speed Shimano 105, 5034 chainrings, 1134 cassette. Before collecting the bike, they sold the cassette back to the bike shop, and then they put a bigger cassette on the bike, and then it only cost them £15 to upgrade. Now, I think that is a really smart way about going around upgrading the bike.
Yeah, that is a smart idea. Interestingly, I put a poll out on Instagram about what gears people have.
Yeah.
And it definitely was the most popular was 5236.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a change from several years ago when it was 5034 chain sets. And that is, again, because cassettes have got bigger, I reckon.
Yeah.
Right, next comment was from Edmund Hodgson, who says, Ollie, we were waxing our chains and changing grease in our bearings for oil in the 80s. Rim brakes would also have thrown you over the handlebars if you pulled them too much. Nutrition and training is the difference.
Fair enough. I don't think all of that technology was as widely used back then as it is now, but...
Yeah, and I'd also say that with regards to braking, like if you actually spoke to a Formula One engineer who looked at the telemetry of the sport and the performance of braking, and actually if you were trying to do like a fastest effort possible down a technical descent, then the added precision that you can get from and shortened braking zones through disc brakes. I might be opening a can of worms.
Yeah, I think you are.
I think the sort of Formula One performance engineer is going to go, give them disc brakes and they'll be quicker. But
I don't want to open that can of worms.
That could be one for a video, couldn't it? But,
okay, right. On to the video that Mala made focusing on all of the different bikes that the Women's World Tour riders are using, which I'm going to say, disappointingly, hasn't been watched as many times as I'd hoped, because the Women's World Tour bikes, in my eyes, are actually cooler than the men's.
I think they've got better paint jobs.
Yeah.
I think some of the women's bikes look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so first comment says, good lord, these are some great looking bikes. Wish this level of colour was more common in low level bikes. I think I'm in total agreement with that.
Yeah, and MS Kyra says overall the women have far better looking bikes and kit than the men. Keep it up. I think they do. Like today when we were riding back into Megabase, and we passed a few of the pro women that are living and training out here, and we were both like, their kit looks so good.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, the women have won that category for sure. Right, underneath our functional tech video, somebody called Operation Darkside says, this is one of the most useful episodes on GCN Tech I can remember. I'm soon going to be switching to cycling instead of a car, so anything helps.
Yeah, nice.
Dave Mees 2192 says, I'm very pleased to see GCN focusing on something else besides ultra-light professional type of riding gear. There you go.
Yeah, and loads of people saying we missed a bell off the list. Yes, you're absolutely right. We did.
Yeah, we did.
We forgot that one. Yeah. All right. We'll put that in another one.
Okay, it's now time for this week's Bike Vault. Hold on, we haven't got the bell. What are we going to do? We don't have the bell.
Oh, what can we use? How come they don't have a bell here? What do they do?
Okay.
Right, instead of a bell, because GCN and Espanol don't have one, we're going to use a Camelback bottle with a Park Tool patch kit inside it.
And what do you do if it's a super nice?
You shake it.
That's the worst improvisation I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, but the sponsors will love it, Alex.
Right, you should know how the Bike Vault works. There's a link in the description underneath the tech show, which takes you to the uploader where you can upload a picture of your bike, and then we judge it to be either nice or super nice. If it's super nice, I shake the bottle. First up this week, we've got a bike from Marco. It's a Trek Domane AL4 Disc Gen 3.
Ooh. Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Done. Right, Laura's next with, oh wow. She's in Alicante, Spain, and it's a 2003 Bespoke 7 Alta frame.
I like that.
I like that. Oh, everyone's down in Calpe at the moment.
I want to say it's annoying me how it's lent up as a jaunty angle, blah, 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 stuff like that, but I like it.
I like it as well. It's a great photo. Great colours. Next is a blank author. Oh, Tobias SJ with a Scott Foil RC30.
Again, another jaunty angle.
Also, why has he like plonked it next to a load of graffiti in like a pile of crap on the floor?
Sorry. Okay.
Look at that.
It's a nice. Next one in is from Ed. It's Cannon Out Super 6 Evo 2023. Love the colour of that. Love the wheels as well. I like the line design on the wheels.
Yeah, I think we can super nice that one.
Can we super nice it? Yeah.
I think it's all very neat, yeah. That's a really cool coloured bike, that. It's really popping, isn't it?
Raoul next with a Specialized Diverge.
He's in BC.
Look at that rear mudguard. That's amazing.
Wow, wow.
That is a big boy.
You know what, though? I'm worried about the bike just... it's precariously positioned, and it's like it's going to sort of roll forward slightly and then just put a big scratch down the side of the top tube. We can't endorse that kind of behaviour. Nice.
Last bike for this week's Bike Vault. It's from, we'll have to have the username up on screen because the author isn't here. It's a Trek Mdo 9. They say the last picture of the bike for having to sell it due to an injury.
Oh, what?
So devastating to hear that, but this is one hell of a bike. Love the colours of that.
That that must be a Project One?
That has to be.
Because that is not, I've never seen that as stock. But yeah, Trek Factory Racing.
Hands down, that's a super nice for me.
Please, I mean, that is, yeah, like easy. But we have to, I mean, I think we'll assume he's taking the pedals off because he's selling it.
Yeah.
But no pedals and, it's a bit weird, Canyon stand Trek bike.
Where's your shadow stand?
Where's your shadow stand? But yeah, it's super nice.
We can let that slide through for the last one of the week. Okay, that's it. That brings this week's GCN Tech Show in GCN Espanol Mega Satellite Moonbase Alpha to a close.
Yeah.
As we said at the start of the show, let us know your thoughts on the whole new Campagnolo group set in the comments down below.
Yeah.
And we'll read the best ones out next week.
Yeah, and hopefully whoever's editing this can put a cool sound effect on our improvised bell.
Come on, Isaac, save us.